Hello and welcome to ET Retail's exclusive curtain raiser series ahead of our flagship e-commerce and digital native summit 2023. Today, we are in conversation with the man spearheading e-commerce giant Amazon's India business. We have with us Manish Tiwary, Country Manager, India Consumer Business, Amazon. Hello sir, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So the theme of our discussion is Rise of India's Digital Economy, and very interestingly, our conversation coincides with Amazon completing 10 years in the country.
Yes.
So first, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
If you look back at your journey, the top two takeaways about the Indian market and the Indian consumer.
When we started 10 years back on 5th June, we were very, very excited about the opportunity in India. And I think the one big takeaway for me is 10 years later, we are even more excited. Not only by what we've managed to achieve, in some ways become India's apni dukaan, but more importantly, given the focus of the country on creating a digital economy, given the ambitious plans around a 5 trillion economy, the future is much brighter than what we've had for the last 10 years. So I think that is what is really, really exciting for us at Amazon in India.
Yeah, wonderful. I mean, that's a beautiful thought. And as you said, for e-commerce, the journey has just started.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We keep on using this word. It's still day one.
Yeah.
I think as far as e-commerce is concerned, it's still day zero. I mean, it's at infancy. So lots of exciting times ahead.
So as we say, there are exciting times ahead for e-commerce, and Amazon has worked very actively with small brands and businesses, and that's the future, of
That's
course.
right.
So how do you perceive the opportunity of cross-border e-commerce, especially now that India is focusing a lot on exports?
Yeah, I'll probably take a minute and digress a little bit. As we were sort of 5 years after we had sort of come into India, started the marketplace, we realized there were a few areas we could make a significant difference to the country. And those three areas were in the area of digitization, because we are a digital business, whether it's shopping, payments, AWS. Second was in terms of employment, because we have a large number of employees and large number of partners in the ecosystem. And the third was about exports, the cross-border business which you talk about. So this is something very close to our hearts, and it's built into what we do at Amazon in India. If you just go back by a decade, you could be a small entrepreneur having a very good product, but the challenges of exporting it, think of the compliance challenges, think of the business development challenges. You needed to open up something in the country where you wanted to go. Think of the logistics challenges. And in some ways, a lot of small businesses, in spite of having a product and in spite of having a latent demand in some of these countries, would not be able to fulfill it. We started the Amazon Global Selling Program 5 years back, and we were absolutely amazed by the kind of response we got. And what does Amazon Global Selling Program do? It basically tells the entrepreneur or the small business, focus on what you are good at, your product, and leave the rest of it, the compliance part, the logistics part, the market access part, to us. So today, if you look, in such a short period, we are already exported more than $5 billion, and bulk of it is from small businesses. There are more than 100,000 sellers in this program, and they are selling to close to 190 countries. Yeah? So the demand was always there, and in a small way, I do believe that e-commerce and Amazon is now the perfect solution for any small business to actually start getting into markets across.
Wonderful. I think wonderful numbers there. And it's so motivating, especially.
Absolutely. I mean, let me give you an anecdote. When you see an Indian brand in Oprah Winfrey's show, you really feel good.
Yeah.
And there's a brand called Vadham Teas,
Yes.
and it came onto the Amazon Global Selling Program, and today it's got a global audience. Yes. So yes, we feel very good that we managed to help some of these awesome entrepreneurs reach customers across the world.
Just an extension to what we're talking about, as the next leg of growth comes, how do you see e-commerce can be made more accessible to MSMEs? where will we see Amazon, or where do you see the industry working towards to achieve this?
Yeah, I think it's like I said, it's still day zero as far as e-commerce is concerned. There's a long journey ahead. I do feel that, I would almost call this the golden era for small businesses and entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And why do I say that? With the effort which the government is putting on digitizing the entire economy, it now gives the flexibility to every small businessman and entrepreneur to actually address a very, very vast audience and customer base. We in Amazon and other players in e-commerce have to further help in accelerating this trend. Yeah, it's already growing very fast. And I look at the entire journey of the seller once they go online and start selling on an e-commerce marketplace. Start with a very simple thing like onboarding. As we get deeper into smaller towns, we need to provide more support to onboard sellers. What do I mean by that? Today, if you go on to let's say the Amazon app and you want to become a seller, we earlier used to have it in one language, English. Today we have it in 6 languages because it's important. We established something like a digital Kendra in Surat, in Kanpur, where anyone can walk in and we literally will give you classes on how to come on board and sell. So I think onboarding is a very important thing, and it has 2 legs, a programmatic leg, which is training, and then a product leg, which is make your product so simple that anyone can come online. I think the second part of it is training. There are some nuances, just like any other business. For example, catalog creation.
Yeah.
What we've done is, we've trained 1,200 partner networks across the country. We call them selling partner network associates. What do these 1,200 small organizations do? They help a seller and train them on each and every step of the e-commerce journey. It could be as simple as catalog creation. You want to do digital advertising. One is, you can of course come to, we have a seller university which has like more than 1,000 videos in all languages which tell sellers how to use advertising. But even if you need some hand holding, the SPNs provide that for a certain charge. Yeah. So the training, be it through webinars, be it through e-studies, also is backed with physical resources across.
Yeah.
The third is logistics. We have to ensure that sellers can send their goods in a seamless manner at the lowest cost possible. So today, for example, we have multiple ways of fulfillment. So if a seller is worried about working capital, they can use something called Amazon Seller Flex, Amazon Easy Ship. These are new innovations which have been done in India. Now they are used worldwide. But it is important to take care of the logistics part. And the last part, which is equally important, is ensuring that we provide good credit. Using the banking system, using the NBFCs, I think the onboarding, the training, the logistics and the credit part of it, we have to keep on improving and making sure it reaches to every part of the country. I think that is what would accelerate this ecosystem.
Wonderful. I think you bang on in your approach, and for the growth of small businesses in India, across the 4 points that you highlighted, there has to be constant innovation, investment coming in.
That's right.
So it's going to be very exciting going forward.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So my next question is a little broad based, but based on your journey, you have spent a considerable amount of time in offline retail, in some of the toughest markets of FMCG, and in online now. How do you see this entire ecosystem of coexistence evolving going forward?
Yeah, I'm probably going to repeat this. We are hitting what is probably a golden age for retailing and small businesses to participate in it. Why do I say that? If you think of the retail business, there are 2 aspects. One is the demand side, that the demand has to be there, and the second is the supply side. Think about yourself as a consumer. 10 years back, we didn't have access to the kind of information we have now. Yeah. Today, people search for shampoos which are sulfate free, paraben free. The amount of knowledge which is there with the consumer, and the fact that income levels have been rising. We have the world's largest population of young people. All of that is coming together to create what I would say is a demand which we've never seen earlier. Yeah, and it's not only in depth, it's in width also. So if you take shampoos, I mean, we sell close to 1,000+ varieties of shampoo.
Wow.
10 years back, I mean, you would probably have 10 brands and a few conditioners at best, or some few serums. So I think the demand is really, really picking up, yeah, and it's driven by income levels, age profile, and the access to knowledge of what's happening elsewhere. Yeah. Earlier, if there was a demand, the supply would be an issue. Every city had its own market where you could buy a few imported goods, but you were never very sure about the freshness of the good or the quality of the good.
Yes.
Today, because of e-commerce, it is viable to sell one bottle of paraben-free shampoo in Assam. The entrepreneur does not have to set up a national network.
Yes.
They don't have to worry about that. I mean, take Amazon as an example. We supply to every serviceable pin code. Yeah. We have a setup of more than 43 million cubic square feet to help our sellers to sell anywhere they want. Our own logistics network, now Prime Air, our own aircrafts to make sure it reaches fast. So, what's happening is, to meet the demand, we now have a supply. Yeah. 10 years back, if you wanted to launch a CPG brand in India, you would probably start from a town, slowly build it over to a regional brand in 10 years and a national brand maybe in 20 years.
Yes.
I can give you examples, Mamaearth, Wow, Boat Audio. They've all become national, very large brands in a matter of years. And I think that is where e-commerce is helping in the demand, in the supply part of it. Yeah. So I think it's almost a perfect dovetailing of supply, of demand which was there, and now there's a supply which every small entrepreneur can use very effectively in a financially effective, sustainable way. And I think that is what is going to drive retail. A lot of time people ask me, online, offline, these are manufacturer words. We should think customer backwards. There is nothing called an online customer or an offline customer. Customers go and shop everywhere. Yeah. They will go as per their convenience. It is our job as brand owners, as entrepreneurs, as retailers to make sure we provide the best possible service at whichever point they decide to interact. I just want to share a data point with you. The growth forecasted in retail, first it's going to accelerate, and we've already seen that, and that's a very positive sign. A lot of acceleration is coming because of small businesses and new brands, as you pointed out. The second, 80% of this growth in the next 5 to 10 years would come from omni-channel. And which is why I tell everyone, even if you are selling offline, come online and serve additional customer demand. That's the way to make the business grow.
Yes, wonderful. And you highlighted a very important point. There's absolute blurring of lines between retail.
Absolutely. So
that's the future.
And which is why when people say online, offline, I say these are not customer backward terms. These are manufacturer forward terms.
Yes, wonderful. So you have to go where the customer is.
Absolutely.
So just one last question, sir. And as someone who has understood retail so closely, what's that one advice you'll give to budding entrepreneurs or growing brands as they plan to scale their businesses, they plan to go national, plan to go international?
Oh yeah, I'm going to use a little bit of Amazon language, but I'll explain that. So we have leadership principles in Amazon, 16 of them. And I'm going to use them and then bring them alive for your viewers. I think the one piece of advice, which is also a leadership principle in Amazon, is learn and be curious. This basically means that your learning journey should never stop. Yeah. Why do I say that? What was true 5 years back is not true today. Technology is moving so fast. I'm sure you've heard about generative AI, the chat GPTs, large language models. This world will look very different in 12 months. And which is why it's irrespective of the size of your business, irrespective of the nature of industry you are in, please keep on learning what's happening and adopting technology. If we don't do it, you would get sort of outdated and outpaced very quickly. And especially right now, I do think that the next couple of years is going to be transformational in terms of what technology can do. The second, always stay obsessed with your customer. See what's happening in the market, look at competition, learn from them, but focus your business on customer obsession, because customers will always remain very demanding.
Yeah.
And there is no better bar than to meet the customer requirements.
Yeah.
So these would be the two learnings. Learn and be curious and continue to be customer obsessed.
Wonderful. I think that's very honest advice, and that will be my biggest takeaway from the interview.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank you for having me.